Are we good? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of District Heights. This is our city meeting. It is Thursday, May 1st, 2025, and it is 7:02 p.m., and I call this meeting to order. We are now at Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Jennifer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have the opening prayer from Commissioner Harcourt.
If everyone can just bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you in communion and fellowship with joy. There's a lot of things going on, but one thing that we're going to do is we're going to uplift your name in the spirit of joy and community and service. We ask that you come down and grace us with the ability to lead and represent our community and make the right decisions for our community and our people the best way that we can. We ask that you wrap your arms around us, the people that are indigent or hungry or who need someone, and let them know that we are here for them and that we are making this community better for everybody, and that we uplift this community as a testament to your love and to your grace and your honor. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Commissioner Harcourt. We're now the approval of the agenda. The commission had a chance to review the agenda. We do have one amendment. We're just not going to do the consent agenda. We're going to go through each action item that's listed. So we do have an amendment to the agenda. Could I get a motion?
I, Vice Mayor Gomez, move that the City Commission approve the agenda for the May 1st, 2025 city meeting
With the amended
with the amended
consent agenda
consent agenda
removed.
removed.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Harcourt, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. So David, you taking notes tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So now we are ready for our presentations. So we have Infinite Legacy, Ms. Darlene Wood. So you have a PowerPoint presentation, and you can come to the podium and introduce yourself.
Good evening. I am Darlene Wood. I am Community Outreach Coordinator for Infinite Legacy. And I will explain what Infinite Legacy, who we are, and what we do.
Pull the mic down. Mic. Pull it.
Pull your mic down.
There you go.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Thank you. So, what is Infinite Legacy? Our service area covers 10 million people. Our hospitals, we have 68 hospitals. Children National Medical Center, Inova Fairfax Hospital, MedStar Georgetown University Hospital, MedStar Washington Hospital Center, the George Washington University Hospital, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Johns Hopkins Hospital, University of Maryland Medical Center. We serve over 9.9 million citizens in Washington, Maryland, D.C., Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So we have 8 transplant centers, which I just read off in the DMV area. Why is organ, eye, and tissue donation so important? But me, I have a personal reason. My husband received a kidney transplant almost 8 years ago. When my brother passed away in Maryland, we donated his eyes for research. It was pretty personal for me. Nationally, there are over 100,000 people waiting. Every 9 minutes, someone new is added to the list. 17 to 20 people die every day waiting. In 2024, in our service area, there were 324 donors, 961 organs transplanted, and 823 recipients transplanted. What is the Decision Project? The Decision Project is a grassroots initiative that empowers, educates, and inspires. We offer city council support. We work with community leaders, neighborhood associations, local law enforcement, pastoral support. We do community hospital involvement, Maryland Food Bank, annual block party, health fairs, and we sponsor Gospel Fest. So these are some of the pictures from our community engagements that we've done in Baltimore and the surrounding areas. In the Decision Project, we are, again, in the communities. So you'll see several pictures of me out in the communities with District 3 Police Department. And at Doctors Hospital, April was Donate Life Month. And so we did a flag raising ceremony in several hospitals in the DMV area. There's a picture of us releasing butterflies in memory of the people who donated organs. The Decision Project, we're broken down into zip codes. As you can see in DC, we have 4 zip codes, which we call TDP zip codes. We have Ward 1, 2, 7, and 8. And in Maryland, we have a lot in Baltimore. We have Columbia, Prince George's County, 20747, Upper Marlboro, and Hyattsville. I am the coordinator for all of Prince George's County, St. Mary's County, Charles County, and Calvert County. And we have low donor rates in Virginia as well. So here's some data. So far this year, we've conducted over 133 community outreach events, expanding engagement across diverse populations. We've reached more than 11,000 individuals through educational initiatives fostering informed decision-making. Here's a recap of Q1. We have a STEM program. We successfully implemented a donation-focused STEM curriculum at Charles Hart Middle School, Southeast DC, and Montgomery Village Middle School in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And that was done in February 2025, marking a major milestone in youth education on organ donation. We've had over 400 7th graders to participate in the 2025 program, gaining insight into the science, ethics, and impact of donation and transplantation. We do school tours, so they'll be coming to our Baltimore office next week. Hart Middle School will be there next week to do another tour. We have upcoming donation trips with schedule the students to come to Infinite Legacy offices between March and May. So they're able to engage firsthand with us in the field, tour the facilities, and deepen their understanding of donation process. An interactive STEM-based curriculum for, okay. Q1 recap. We're good.
My
You go ahead.
apologies, ma'am.
Oh, that's okay. Q1 recap continued. That's fine. We can go to the next slide. So we are in partnership with the Henrietta Lacks Foundation. We strengthen public awareness of Henrietta Lacks' profound legacy in organ donation, bioethics, and research through strategic community engagement. We hosted Immortal Like Her on National Donor Day, an impactful community event in collaboration with the Henrietta Lacks House Foundation, featuring distinguished panelists. Alfred Lacks Carter Jr. is a senior Lacks family member. Dr. Clive Callender, who is a renowned surgeon at Howard University Hospital. Willie Flowers, Chief of Strategic Initiatives for Maryland Office of the Public Defender. Latrice Price, who is our Infinite Legacy Community Outreach supervisor. The media was there to cover it. We engaged 85 persons through in-depth discussions, educational outreach, and media collaborations, reinforcing the power of education, empowerment, and partnerships in advancing health equity and increasing donation awareness. The Decision Project updates. As you can see, we hosted 2 community screenings of Abundance to raise awareness of chronic kidney disease and living organ donation. March 29th, we hosted it at Largo Magic Johnson Theater, and April 1st, it was in Washington, D.C. and Georgetown. We engaged over 100 attendees across both events, sparked powerful conversations around kidney health, living donation, and health equity. We provided local data and resources to support informed decision-making within communities disproportionately affected by chronic kidney disease. These are upcoming projects that we have. We have Summers and Seven Corners, May 10th. It will be Falls Church, Virginia. Montgomery County, our block party is May 31st, and White Oak and Silver Spring. Our DC block party will be June 29th at Howard University Medical Center. Prince George's County block party will be July 19th. Location to be determined. And Summers in the 7th is August 9th, Mondawmin Mall parking lot. We also have what we call student organ donation advocates, which are our SOTA, we call them SOTA ambassadors. We have 7 active student-led organ donation advocacy chapters. Students organize educational events and registration drives. We have St. Albans School, American University, George Mason University, Johns Hopkins, St. Mary's Riken High School, University of Maryland College Park, and Sherwood High School. This is a way for students to spread the word about organ, eye, and tissue donation as well. So how you can help, we have an ambassador program where you can volunteer to host an event, come with us to events, and if we have anyone who is an organ donor, we do have living donors as well, or recipient, we invite them to join our ambassador program so they can work side by side with us. These are ways to connect with us: Facebook, website, LinkedIn, I don't know all these symbols, Charles, Twitter, and
YouTube.
I'm sorry?
YouTube.
Yeah, them too. I'm sorry. If anybody has any questions, this information is incorrect. I do have business cards to pass out to anyone. If anyone has any questions, I'll take questions.
Excuse me, yes. Any questions from the commission?
What, if I may, Madam Mayor?
Sure.
What's your correct information, just to put it on the record?
Darlene Wood, dwood@infinitelegacy.org. Phone number is 410-818-7415.
Thank you, Ms. Wood.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the commission? If you like to leave your information at the table
We
up
will.
there, you can.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I hope you are considering to have a table at District Heights Day on December. Okay,
Sponsored.
all right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So next, we have Prince George's County Office of Community Human Rights, Tiana Davis, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually in lieu of Tiana. My name is Kyla Hannington, which I'll spell for the record. It's
Okay.
KYLAHANINGTON. I just want to take a moment. First of all, thank you all for making time for me. Thank all of you. It's an honor to be here presenting to you on behalf of the Prince George's County Office of Human Rights. I'll try to be speedy, but I'll take you through why I'm here, why we're out coming talking to municipalities, and then I'll also tell you about our office and hopefully show this information. We are a county government agency. We do 4 main things, but one of the things I realize is that we cannot reach all the people in Prince George's County but we can reach the people who reach the people. And we know that you folks, being out in your communities, elected officials, you are gonna hear from people all the time. You're gonna kind of get to know what your constituents' needs are. So we are on a push to go out to all municipalities and talk to you folks about our work so that you then know who you can refer people to. People who are watching here today, whether it's online or in the audience also, you get to hear what we're doing, and hopefully it sparks something, and if you ever need us, you know who we are. So our office has been around since 1972. We used to be called the Human Relations Commission. So for those who've been around the county for a long time, have heard the name Human Relations Commission, that is us. We just got a new name about 4 years ago, the Office of Human Rights, because it's a little bit more clear in a 2020 context what we do. We have 4 main areas. First of all, we investigate complaints of civil rights discrimination. So that's things like age, race, national origin, gender, familial status, immigration status. All of those kind of what we call protected classes, those human or civil rights categories, we investigate complaints of discrimination if someone feels like that happened to them for one of those reasons in the areas of employment, public accommodations, which is just like a way of saying a business, housing, education, law enforcement, as well as some commercial and residential real estate. So we really, we don't want discrimination to occur in Prince George's County, but we know that sometimes it does, and we want people to know that we are the folks to call. We have investigators who act impartially and try and find out what's going on. If it does seem like discrimination occurred, then there's some remedy. We do have an appointed body of commissioners that are appointed by the county executive who can adjudicate on matters. The second thing we do is in 2013, the county council stood up the Prince George's County Human Trafficking Task Force that is run through our office. Whoever is our executive director is automatically the chair by statute. And then we also have a human trafficking division, and the division manager is the administrator of that task force. So I know human trafficking is something a lot of people are interested in. We do training about human trafficking awareness. The Human Trafficking Task Force now is about 240 member agencies run through our office. Again, you've got police, direct service providers, faith communities, all kinds of different organizations. So if people who are listening or want to get involved or want to learn more, again, we're happy to do some trainings, get out here in the community, let people know about human trafficking. In 2017, County Council stood up a bill called the Language Access for Public Services Act. It was amended in 2020. But the short form is that all people are entitled to access county government, as in Prince George's County government, services in the language of their preference. Our office's job is, first of all, to make sure that the county government is ready to meet that need, and get out here and make sure the public knows if you need something from Prince George's County government, you can get it in the language that is right for you. And if it turns out that you're not getting it in the language that you need, you can reach out to our office, and again, we'll investigate and try and remedy that situation. And lastly, we do public outreach and engagement. We do tons of events all around the county in person. We do a lot virtually in partnership with the library system. The way I look at it is that if you think about investigations happen once discrimination has occurred, we're trying to do with the public outreach side end discrimination before it begins by building relationships, building understanding across diverse people. So we do interfaith conversations. We've partnered with municipalities to have like a multicultural day. As I said, we do lots with the library. We have a lunch and learn series on Tuesdays at noon. If you ever want to tune in online with your lunch, come and see who we've got to be a guest with us, and just a big variety of things. So I brought some brochures, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just wanted you all to know, and you all to know, that the Prince George's County Office of Human Rights is here for you all.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the commission? Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that information, and if you have brochures, you can put them up front.
Okay, I brought kind of a little bag. Should I just put a few out and leave some?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I before you go, I do have a question.
Sure.
So are you do you intend to be at our District Heights Day?
So I don't know when your District Heights Day is.
Okay.
So that sounds like maybe. That's my short answer.
So we'll make sure that David.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
make sure you
okay,
get the
thank you.
information.
If we have the staffing, we would love to be out in the community,
Sure.
so we love that. Okay, thank you
Oh,
very much.
that would be great.
And thanks
Okay.
for helping me find my way here, too. That'll be okay.
Thank you. Okay. Go to the action item. Get that out of the way. the action item. It's only the one with the charter. No, this one. Yeah, so we didn't do it, so we're gonna go. Right, we can redo that, and then we'll go to the, do we have any public comments?
There is one additional presentation.
One additional
Yes.
presentation?
Yes, it's an informational presentation by a onboarding vendor.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, hi. All right.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time.
All right.
My name is Daniel Offer. I'm a senior manager at a company called Violytics. We are an AI road and asset management tool, so hopefully you will be working with the city to improve road and asset conditions throughout the city, and then improve helping saving time, cost, labor, resources on an ongoing basis. Primarily, the way our technology works is just by taking an iPhone, mounting it into the windshield of any of your municipal vehicles, and going for a drive. As you drive, our application will take a picture of the road automatically, and we use AI to do a full condition assessment on the surface of the roadway. We'll identify up to 15 types of distress, as well as identifying their severity. In addition to identifying areas on the surface of the road, we'll also automatically create inventory and identify damage on an ongoing basis to all of your street signs, your catch basins, and your manholes as well. Put together a short deck, just to tell you a little bit about the company and some of the deliverables that we'll be seeing both in the short and the long term. Our technology, we were founded in Stuttgart, Germany, smack dab in their automotive innovation hub. Our two primary owners are Volkswagen and Scania truck manufacturer. We've been growing very quickly. We're in 6 countries over in Europe, the United States being our 7th country. We're in 31 states at the moment. So far in Maryland, we've partnered with cities, boroughs like Brunswick, New Carrollton, Forest Heights, and more to come, and very, very excited. Go a little farther down. Thank you very much. Again, we've been growing very, very quickly, and we have a very easy-to-use technology. We're not installing hardware, any sensors around the city. We're just a mobile phone application that feeds into a cloud-based web application that will give David, Tony, your entire team full visibility into what's going on the street. And again, the data is broken down into a number of very different, easy-to-use modules that will now allow you to not only look at the data, but actually create action from it as well. So building short and long-term construction plans, identifying areas where you need to fix your signs, and other areas within the right-of-way that require additional attention as well. Can you, would that work if you click that, David, by any chance?
Find out.
Let's see, 'cause it's a cool link. Awesome. So the user does not see this as they drive, but this is how our AI will function as you drive. So you can drive stop-go up to 35, 38 miles an hour, and again, we'll do a full condition analysis on the surface of the road. The idea behind this is that we don't want to do a one-time assessment. You know, similarly in the past, you would pay an engineer to go out, do a visual inspection, they'd come back with a full report. This will allow you to do ongoing inspections on an unlimited basis, so when you do spend a lot of your resources to pave a brand-new road, you can now begin to identify damage in its early onset to not only hold your contractor as responsible, the materials who's responsible, but begin to identify things in their early onset to stave off more critical, expensive repairs later on. If you scroll down. So this was an assessment we already did on some of your streets last week. The data becomes available immediately. These are some of the different modules. So within the road condition module, your public works team, your engineers, your managers, you'll be able to identify individual types of distress within the roadway, identify them by type and severity. And not only on a one-time nature, but being able to look back in time as well to see how specific areas in the right-of-way have progressed over time. So especially in, we get a lot of critical storms here, creating events with objective data and photographic documentation of what happened pre and post storms or pre and post utility work. We can start to use this as a tool to help track on a granular level how our infrastructure is performing. If you'll scroll down a little bit. Thank you. And there was a little image that didn't pop up there, but that is a graph of the benefit of identifying damage to your roads in its infancy stage. So as opposed for waiting for a pothole to become critical, we want to identify that when in its early onset as a baby, when it's a linear crack. And then we can do mitigation strategy as opposed to spending millions of dollars to have to fix that road. The other big benefit of this as well is I'm sure township administrators, managers, people are relying on Google Earth often to look at what any particular point looks like across the city. This will now replace Google Earth as a true source of what any address, any given point in the roadway looks like on a particular day, and being able to track that back as well. As I mentioned, for MS4 reporting, stormwater management, this will be a tool that can just be used for that as well. So we'll identify your manholes or your storm drains and then identify if they're damaged, whether they're out sticking or lowered relative to the surface of the asphalt. So we'll even trigger actually what's called a road safety alert for pedestrians, bikers, for critical damage to these assets as well. For your traffic signs, we'll begin to identify automatically if they're faded, if they're dirty, if they're stickered or graffitied, or if they begin to become hidden by foliage or a tree branch. So again, this data will collect automatically. Tony, David, and their team will receive these notifications, and they can very seamlessly dispatch work orders to resolve these issues before they have to become reported by a citizen or something of that nature. Continue farther down. Thank you. And again, these are different use cases for our tool. So we're not just a road condition assessment tool. We're not just a work order tool. Our tool can be used to actively manage the condition of your roads, actively fully manage the life cycle of all your assets, and then use this tool as well to help create reporting, again, pre and post storms, create accountability pre and post utility work, helping to track condition maybe on roads that you don't have jurisdiction, but you'd like to create documentation of the condition of that infrastructure as well. Again, this will become a digital backbone for the city to operate on so that there's full continuity and transparency and objectivity citywide, no matter, again, who's looking at this data, who's accessing it. Anyone will have full access to this data, again, creating a lot of better cross-functional communication. Most importantly, we are a European company, so we are fully GDPR compliant. It is the highest level of data privacy, and all of the images that we are taking of the roadway, we are ensuring to blur all faces and license plates is one of the AI processes that our system puts all of the images through. And last but not least, that was one of our first potholes when we launched in the US. We are not just a software company, we are an active partner with all of the municipalities we work with, whether you're a DOT, a county, or a small borough. We actively work with all of our city partners, so when we get started, hopefully our team will be here on site, training with Tony and her team, sitting in your public vehicle, showing them how to use our application. Again, if you know how to use a smartphone app, pretty simple to use, but we will be here showing you how to do that. After that, we will meet with your public works, with your administration on an ongoing basis to help increase the utility of this tool. The goal is that if you are not saving money, time, and resources, then we're not doing our job. And we've also put together a partnership structure that reflects our commitment to establishing something long-term with the city as well. This is what that typical onboarding schedule will look like. So as I mentioned, we'll be here on site, and then there's just continued communication with the city, whatever the needs are, whether it's for public works, engineering, administration, creating reports, things of that nature. We're here as an active partner. Any questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
1 second. So any questions from the commission?
I do. Ladies first.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have two questions.
Sure.
Based on the assessments,
Mhm.
will you prioritize, like you'll see a pothole that's like really egregious, and
Mhm.
this needs to be at the top of the list in terms of prioritizing what needs to be done first?
Absolutely. Our system will identify those and then, of course, recommend them. We can't make the user do anything, but we, of course, identify all the severe areas and exactly to your point, yes.
And then, the next one is, does it have an ability to, see like sign, we have a lot of people that come through and they're putting up these, for, signs for this and that. Will it be
Sure.
able to identify them and target those as well? And-
Yes, so there are two ways that we'll be able to do that. I didn't mention I've been holding this button the whole time, so while the phone is mounted in the windshield, we want the user to safely be able to use our application without taking their hands off the steering wheel. So anytime anyone operating the application sees something in the right of way that they want to take note of, instead of either ignoring it or having to stop, take a picture, get out, all they have to do is click this button. It'll automatically use the iPhone to take a picture, mark the latitude, the longitude with a timestamp, and generate a work order for Tony and the team, so it's something that they have to deal with as well. And in addition, you will also have all of that photographic evidence to use as well to identify any issues within the right-of-way or across the city as well. This is actively used in many towns for code enforcement, again, identifying things just specifically in the right-of-way that are not supposed to be there. That in addition to, again, the AI, the distress that our AI will detect.
One final question.
Sure.
Where is the actual device mounted on the vehicle?
Sure, just, we recommend putting it up in the windshield in the highest point, or just like that.
Oh.
And then the only other thing needed is we have not a very high tech, it's just a blanket that will go down on the dashboard and it negates reflectivity into the lens of the camera, and that's all you need. It's incredibly plug and play. We can typically have anyone who has a driver's license up and running in 15 minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your time again. Yes.
Commissioner Harcourt, you have a
Thank you,
question?
Madam Mayor. Well, Commissioner Jennifer answered a few of those. I wanted to just ask if, David, if we're considering putting these in code enforcement vehicles as well.
One of the things that makes this platform really attractive is that the only real equipment that the city needs to buy is an iDevice, an iPhone, and we have many of them in stock. And so we're probably in a position to where we could deploy them fleet-wide.
Additionally, is this a device that you have to remove? I know there are issues with heat and cold in these cars, so are these devices that we need to remove daily, or are they particularly sensitive to heat?
Good question. Regarding, at the end of an assessment, we typically recommend the user bring the phone back inside anyway and connect it to Wi-Fi so the pictures can upload into the cloud. They delete off the phone as well. So we recommend you bring them inside. Related to operating in different weather conditions, it's the same conditions of operating an iPhone. So if it's 105 degrees outside, when you're running a lot of applications on your phone, you're taking a lot of pictures, your phone might overheat. We recommend not doing an assessment when it's 105 degrees outside. And in the winter, when it's very cold, we would also recommend not doing an assessment when there's snow on the ground because we can't see the road. But we would still want to drive around and use the button and again, use our application to collect infrastructure-related data. Regarding your question regarding a deployment in code enforcement, different vehicles, we have many towns that have this up in street sweepers, sanitation vehicles, again, resources that are already on static routes. Again, the idea is that we don't want to have to expend additional resources to have to collect a lot of this data. It can be collected just organically, naturally from supervisors, city officials, employees driving around. But of course, for the purpose of doing a one-time assessment, that'll take maybe just a couple of hours, driving around.
So you already have standard operating procedures about?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we'll come down, we train, it's a rather simple SOP, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Just a comment, really.
Sure, Vice Mayor.
And thank you so much for the presentation. Just want to note for the body and residents that this came about because if you remember last year, we went ahead and pushed through a 5-year paving plan. And in year 1, we discussed doing a street assessment to give us a plan on what areas we needed to address. And we're in budget season, so we're talking financials. We are experiencing unprecedented times with our state funding levels, our federal funding levels, and we've continuously talked about how we're gonna need to be a bit creative this budget season. And so staff went back and took a look at how we really wanted to go about doing this survey. And I wanted to give some kudos to Tony in DPW for her creativity in finding a solution that is very cost efficient, and it's also in line with our modernization efforts, right? This is in long line of us using AI in various ways on the streets, and just our internal modernization of using OpenGov as an example. So just to give everyone a little bit of context on how we came here, I'm really looking forward for us to continue to collect this data. We've done a couple of surveys on the type of programming we want, so we have qualitative data, and now we're continuing to collect data points within the community so that we're making decisions that are informed and creative in this specific budget environment. I just want to just make that clear, so thank you.
I appreciate that. I would like to add as well that beside for managing infrastructure in the right-of-way, this is also a tool that can be managed for walking paths, bike paths, parks equipment, things of that nature that are not necessarily road-related as well. If anyone's willing to actually get on a bike, we have a special mount for a bicycle, and you can do a condition assessment on a bike.
And
Get
that
some
is
fresh air.
helpful because we do have equipment around the city that we should periodically, I know, David, we talked about that sometimes periodically we need to maintenance our equipment, so this would be helpful in
Yeah.
assessing that.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna have a new tranche of trees put out, so that would also be helpful.
And we didn't, this is something that we scoped out in our meetings with the company, but we are able to mark things like trees or other natural resources as assets in the system and follow their kind of maintenance life, as it were, and generate work orders based off of the asset that is the tree. Say it needs to be trimmed, say it needs to be removed, say it needs to be replanted, the exact same way we would generate a work order based off of a pothole or some maintenance need. Really what we appreciated about this was the flexibility. And so you recall 2.5 years ago, two years ago, we instituted an asset management system. And now we're kind of consolidating that into this more automated and AI-driven platform. And so all of the work that we've done over the last 2 years is gonna, in one way or another, get imported in, and some of the other initiatives that we are working on, like the tree inventory, since we do expect it to have geolocating data for the trees, allegedly will be an easy import into this so that we can just start managing them as assets. For residents, what that means is, what you gotta do is, you'll be able to flag the tree for us, and we'll be able to easily go in, see when it was last picked up in one of these drive-by assessments. We circulate around the city all the time, and so we're gonna be collecting kind of a lot of information on these things, and we'll be able to address concerns as they emerge and refer directly to the asset that is in question.
And are we also making sure to include our alleys in this assessment? Okay, great.
I think it's a little trickier with like milled surfaces, but we did discuss that.
Right, I know that we were discussing actually paving.
Yes.
It was cheaper in the long run for us to pave some of the alleys.
Correct.
To mitigate flooding. We had some
Correct.
flooding issues, okay.
And if you drive a road that isn't paved, you'll still get those pictures of the road. You obviously won't get a condition assessment because there's no road to assess, but you will have the benefit at least of having the pictures of the right-of-way to track those images as well.
But even with that, it would be helpful because we still have to maintain those
Absolutely,
throughways
yes.
with foliage and those
We
types of
have
things.
many partners in more rural areas where they have 250 paved roads and 150 unpaved roads.
Okay.
So, absolutely.
This was great, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
This was good.
So I guess my other question was, do we have public participation? Do you have any forms for public participation?
If you please, just give me a moment to check and confirm.
Okay, sure.
I do not believe we have any speakers signed up to speak tonight.
Okay, thank you. So I want to move around a little bit on the agenda. I think we had at least one action item that,
Yes, Madam Mayor, there are two items on the agenda. There is a simple minutes item, and then there are a tranche of resolutions for charter amendments to Article 3.
okay. So we do have the minutes from the last meeting. Let's just get the motion out of the way for the minutes from the last meeting. And if you're ready, I'll take a motion.
I, Vice Mayor Gomez, move that the City Commission. I, Vice Mayor Gomez, move that the City Commission approve the minutes for the April 22, 2025 work session as provided in the city meeting report.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Chumby, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0. Thanks. Okay. So we have Article 3 amendments for approval. Do we want Brad to come up and kind of talk about the amendments, or? Because there were some changes, Mr. Farrar, right? So please come up to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the commission, Vice Mayor. It's good to see everyone. Yes, what you have is before you in terms of the Charter Commission is the changes that were provided by the Charter Commission. And so we've incorporated them, we put them in a form that would be, that's appropriate for enactment, the amendment of the charter, and we've presented it to the commission. Some of the changes are really from the Charter Commission. So as it relates to any analysis as to what was changed and from what's existing in the charter. Right now, I think that they had provided that earlier towards the end of last year. But what we've done is we've just again put it in the form so that it could be enacted by the commission.
So here, we have the amendments starting at 301 all the way to 314.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commission?
Yes, I have one question, Mayor.
Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Farrar. How are you?
I'm well, Vice Mayor. Good evening.
Good. So if you can just refresh my memory, I know the last time we had this as an agenda item, the Charter Committee presented on Article 3 revisions. We voted as a body to approve those and forwarded it to you for basically a final copy edit with the intent of the changes remaining the same. Is that correct? Was that our last?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so
Yes.
the version that we have presented in our packet is the copy that is the final copy with your copy edit and the changes that we agreed on?
Yes, that is correct, and that was, again, we went through a couple of iterations with the Charter Committee, just to make sure that this is what fairly and accurately reflects what they had submitted to the commission.
Okay.
Which were recommendations.
Yes, the recommendations.
Any questions from the commission?
Yes,
Yes, Commissioner Tillman?
thank you. So I had a question about, section, I know the Charter Committee wanted to add term limits, and also they wanted to kind of, I don't really see the term limits on here. I don't know, what is that section?
So.
I know it says the mayor, it says 3 consecutive, right? And it didn't say, it didn't really define, like, as far as like, if, 'cause I know the charter wanted to do, they said it was like, you can do a total of 3 terms, but it didn't say whether it was 3 terms as a commissioner, or, 3 terms as a mayor, or, the way it looks to me on here is that it's 3 terms, and there is like kind of no stoppage on here, the way the verbiage looks to me on here. And also, one of the sections on here says that the mayor shall vote. I thought, from my understanding, I thought we kind of wanted the mayor to vote on a tiebreaker.
No, I don't think we
That's not what
changed
we
that.
decided.
No.
Well, I guess that's what I assumed
Okay, so.
they wanted.
And again, this is the language that the Charter Committee put forward.
Right.
And as you may recall, I explained to the commission that those were some terms that were unclear and undefined. So I think you're absolutely right that there's some ambiguity as it relates to the term limits. But if you look at 302, Section C, it's clear, I think, that there are some term limits as to if the term limit applies to the office of the mayor. And I gave you a very specific situation where someone could serve. It's not clear as to if
Right.
someone should be mayor for 3 consecutive terms. I think it's clear that you can't serve 3 consecutive terms as mayor. I think more than 3 consecutive terms. I think it's very clear that you can't serve more than 3 consecutive terms as a commissioner. What is not clear, where there is some ambiguity, is if you serve 2 terms as a commissioner, and
Right.
then you serve another term as mayor,
Right.
if you're disqualified. I don't think that.
That's what I'm
that-
talking about.
There's
That's
no,
what I'm asking.
yeah, so there's no prohibition to that. And I don't think that was the intent. I think that the clarity is, the intention is, you can't serve more than 3 terms in one particular office.
Okay.
Can I ask
Sure.
a question?
Sure, Vice Mayor.
And thank you, Commissioner Tillman, for bringing this up, because I don't think we did clarify that originally. So currently as written, it's no more than 3 consecutive terms as mayor or no more than 3 consecutive terms as commissioner. But we have not gotten clarity on if you serve 2 terms as commissioner and 1 term as mayor, does that constitute 3 consecutive terms? That's not clear.
Well, and again, I think but I, you know.
So
they
could
can-
we have,
Yes, he can talk about what their intent was, but I think that there is clarity in that, again, you can't serve more than 3 terms in one office,
in one office?
in one office.
But it doesn't say one office, though.
But it doesn't.
It
So-
doesn't, but it says you can't serve more than 3 consecutive terms.
Right.
So if that was their intent,
Right.
then, then they need to go back and we need to clarify what their intent was and then, put that in the charter.
Okay. So let me ask you,
So-
go ahead.
So let's have the chair come up and hear what the intent is. Mr. Ron Waters.
Oh, I just had a quick question before he go back,
Yeah, he's gonna
before
come
Waters
back.
come back up.
He's
Okay,
gonna
go
come
ahead.
back.
Now, I was
He's
gonna
gonna
say,
come back.
when was the last time you met with the charter committee?
We talked at the end of March, maybe? It was at the end of March, it was the end of March, yeah, we met at the end of March. So this is, again, I think we clarified everything at the end of March.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Ron Waters.
Evening.
So the discussion is around section C.
Well, is the mayor part of the commission?
Yes, according to the charter.
Yeah.
Correct. So, the discussion came up previously, Vice Mayor Gomez mentioned the fact, does it include appointments? No, it does not. If you're an elected official, you can serve 3 terms. Period. We
So it
presented
doesn't matter if you
A
did.
commissioner of Ward 1, or Ward 2,
Commissioner.
or the mayor. That's the commission.
So if I served 2 terms as commissioner, and now I'm going into my first term on mayor, so that's all 3 right there?
Well, it's not effective now.
No, I'm just
That's what we-
asking as
that's
an
what we- That's what we
example.
presented, yes.
Okay,
Back,
Okay.
a year ago, November?
Hmm?
We presented it that way, November of last year.
okay. And even then, we had some concerns about term limits, even for these positions. Were there any questions from the
If you
commission?
can just refresh our memory, Mayor,
Sure.
refresh our memory, the thought process and why the commission put forth that recommendation for term limits.
I guess overall, the main reason, as reviewing the charter and past history of our elected body, we've had elected officers here for a lifetime. We don't want that moving forward. We didn't see that moving forward. Again, the only question that we got was if it included appointments, and it does not include appointments, it's elected.
Okay.
I mean, we've been, you know the history, we've been doing this thing for a long time. And that language was presented last October, November, was approved to be legally looked over by the attorney 2 months ago, so.
Right. Sure.
I just wanted to thank the committee for their hard work. I do have, and I am the liaison for the Charter Committee, and I did have a little bit of heartburn about that one, because our elections are such that if you're not happy with an elected official, you just don't vote for them, and they're out. And so I just really am a little concerned about having term limits for elected officials, just for that, because you might get a person that is serving well, and term limits prevents them from continuing on serving the community. And then also, I'm just thinking there, if you look at our elections, I've been here for 25 years, I know you can trump that, sir. But a lot of people don't run in our elections, and I don't know why. So we're gonna find ourselves in a place where you're not gonna have people that are either term limit out, or there's just not gonna be anybody that's gonna run for office.
Or basically qualify.
Qualify. And
Okay, so,
because it's not a
Okay,
full
okay.
salary position.
I
And what we'll run into is, as we try to conduct business, and if we don't have people in these seats, that puts us city in jeopardy. And that's what we're concerned about. We're not concerned about wanting to be here forever. We just know
I hear
we're not
you.
gonna get the
hey,
participation.
my only problem or issue with that is why today? Why wasn't this presented to the committee last
was.
October, when we could have moved that out or readjusted and closed this thing today?
We did
We
talk
brought
about
up.
it. We
did
did.
talk about it.
We
You
did.
talked about it, but when it came back to us, it was approved the way we wrote it. That's the only thing I can say.
Understood.
Yeah.
Really quick, I just want
Oh, sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually happy with what you just said. I just wanted some clarification on what you meant by the verbiage. That's pretty much all I was going to say. I'm happy with
The
it.
verbiage spoke for itself.
Okay, I was just, that's all I was trying to,
I mean,
I'm
if
happy
we-
with what you said.
If the commission wishes to suggest a change, it's just gonna prolong the process. I mean, I don't know what else you want for us to do.
May I make a suggestion, Mayor?
Sure.
Because, look, we're addressing it now, and I think that's the important thing before we go forth with this process. And so if I'm hearing what I think I'm hearing from consensus is that we need to have further discussion on term limits, I would suggest that we continue the discussion on term limits, but approve everything else within the Article 3 that we agree on, and we don't have any further discussion. That way, we can continue the process on moving forward with ratifying the Article 3 revisions, and it'll give us the opportunity to continue the discussion with the committee and not hold things up. We can continue to move forward. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
So,
with that being said, can we put a time limit to clarify this section 302C? What I'm trying to avoid is, we've been doing this since 2018. Enough's enough. I mean, I'm being real frank with everybody. We volunteer, we put a lot of time into this. We're not doing it in the blind. We have our liaison. We have had counsel. So can we put a time limit on for the commission to get back to us?
If I may.
sure, Commissioner.
If I may, so what we can do that. Because if we go ahead and approve the majority, basically all of the charter,
And just do an
that would just be a
amended.
simple amendment to put that in if we decide that that's something that the commission, we see that that's something that's important. We have had discussion about that. And so we're ready to move forward with the charter. We acknowledge the work. We acknowledge the time that you put in. That's so, we're ready to move
Okay.
forward with that now.
But the article, section
C.
C. Can we put a time frame on when we can get that?
So I guess so from the discussion on clarifying, because now that you know what our concerns are when it comes to term limits, what would you, the Charter Commission would propose based on our recommendations and what our concerns are if we do term limits, because that's really what that
Well,
section C is, what we have to come to an
To
agreement.
be fair, I'm just one person of the committee, so I would rather not give you my opinion on that, my personal opinion. So we will be meeting, what's the day? The day is, we got a meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay,
We got a meeting in 2 weeks.
okay.
So-
So what I was asking, not for you to make a decision, but to bring it back to the committee
Oh, that's not a problem.
and to come up with the language based on what our concerns are.
Well, what I'd like for the commission to do is send me your concern.
We can do that.
And
We
then I
can
can
do-
present it to the committee. We will have a discussion, and I will send it back. That way, hopefully, we can,
No, we will. We
Knock
will.
this out.
We just have that
if we've moved
concern on
past
that
3
one.
now, we're trying to get this thing done.
Oh, sure.
But in the interim,
So we're gonna do, and I wanna
So
make
you're gonna do
sure,
all the,
yeah, with an amendment for.
For C.
For C.
okay.
And so Bradley, no?
So, you can do them all and hold out 302. Just hold out.
Hold out 302.
Yeah, so do them all, because it's, the problematic, or the issue is not just C, but also D. So you, C and D.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so,
okay.
so I think the cleanest way to do it is to approve, 301, 303 through the end, to 314. So if you just hold out, pull back 302, you should be fine. And then the committee can meet, once they get their direction from you, the committee can meet, and then we can meet and revise, make the appropriate adjustments to 302,
understood.
okay?
Okay.
Fair enough? Is that
Fair.
fair enough?
Yeah, that's
Fair enough,
Okay.
fair enough.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, this looks good. So are we ready for the motion? You ready?
Did you draft it? You got it? Vice
Well, we said just one amendment, but we have to say,
Did he say keep?
so Mr. Farrar,
David,
So
you
he's-
got the language?
oh,
Okay,
David has the language.
Okay.
You all don't have to stay.
Janine,
You all don't have to stay.
Or you just want to hang out, you can.
oh, I think you thought Janine
Fill up our
didn't- you wanted
seats.
to ask another question.
Yeah, we won't be offended.
Madam Mayor, what the entirety of the commission now has in its inbox is a draft motion removing 301C and 302C and D from the proposed resolutions and adopts the remainder of the resolutions. And so those are basically the only 3 sections that,
Okay.
there it is. Those are the only 3 sections that speak to the term limits specifically, so 301C, which I'm gonna pull up on the screen right here. It's found in terms of the commission, and then going down to 302, C and D.
Okay, great. That's perfect.
So what the motion does, and the motion will be entered into the record in writing after the meeting, but it takes those 3 provisions, separates them out, and then still allows the commission to pass the remainder as a block.
Right.
Okay, are we ready for that motion?
Ready?
Moment. Yes. Okay. I, Vice Mayor, move that the City Commission remove Section 301C and 301C and D from the Charter Resolution 2025-01 and 2025-02. I further move that the City Commission adopt the Charter Resolutions provided as Attachment 1 through 14 of the May 1st, 2025 Staff Report as amended by the Commission.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Janifer seconds the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Did you have additional comments, Mr. Farrar?
No, but again, just for the record, that was 301C and 302C and D.
Correct.
Just to clarify the record.
Correct.
And the motion.
Correct. If I may, Madam Mayor, before Mr.
Sure.
Farrar, could you give us a recommended time frame after the charter, after we send our recommendations to the Charter Commission for review? We can work that out, and then, because they meet in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Or should the commission, can we work out how soon? Should we send them to you?
You can send them to me or the city clerk, and we can get them to the charter committee. And then, we'll work with the charter committee, Commissioner Janifer and I, met with them, and we can continue to meet with them, to address this issue and to make any other additional modifications.
So can we agree to put on the record that we should have our concerns sent to our city clerk, Mr. Farrar and David, no later than close of business of next Friday?
Yep, we can do that.
Thanks. And then we'll get that, and they'll meet in a couple weeks, and again, a week after that, we'll make our decision.
Mayor, if I can ask.
Sure.
In addition to what Commissioner Harcourt has said, commented on, I wanted to ask, is there any way before it goes, our comments or our concerns about the language goes to the Charter Committee, once we send our comments to you and the clerk, is there any way that we can get some type of language from you, some proposed language from you on how best to restructure or rewrite that amendment?
Yes, if we have a full and complete understanding of what the charter committee's intent is. So today, I heard that the charter committee's intent is to ensure that no one is elected more than 3 consecutive terms, regardless of office. I think under Maryland law, I think that's a little problematic. So I think there needs to be some work and some education that I have to do in discussions with the charter committee about some of the problems that exist with that. Because we have to recognize that each office is unique. So, for example, as the earlier example that I gave, as a commissioner, it's a unique office. The mayor, as they pointed out in the charter, that's a unique office. And so term limits would apply to each office. And so I think that their overall intent is that, again, you can't serve more than 12 years regardless of office. But I think it's a little problematic.
And we also have to deal with a situation like myself, where I came in to serve in a special election. I came in on a partial, to fill out a remaining term.
Yes.
And so these are things that we have to consider. We are not a large city. We can barely get people to come and help with our committees. And so when you talk about a candidate pool, and I think it's a legitimate fear of ours, is that we've made so much progress in the city, is that, now that we've done this, it would be easy for us to backslide simply because you have people who are doing the right thing who are simply timed out. They're unable to serve, and they're doing the right thing. Because ultimately, people vote. They do have a decision. If they don't like what you're doing, they have the option to vote. So, thank you, Mr. Flora.
Any other questions from the commission?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Tillman?
Thank you. So just for the record, I am in support of what the Charter Committee said. You know, I agree that, you know, we should definitely, you know, follow what they want. You know, though they are residents and they vote, they make decisions on behalf of us. So I agree with what they said. So I just wanted to say that for the record. Yeah, thank you.
And again, Commissioner Tillman, and I appreciate that, and I think that the Charter Committee did a lot of great work.
Yes,
They've
they
given
did.
us, and we've adopted the vast majority of what it was that they said around Charter 3. Section 3 of the Charter. But I think that the real issue is that, again, it's just problematic with the law. So we have to make sure that the charter is consistent with the law. We're not saying, you know, I'm not saying that term limits can't be done in the charter, but the fact of the matter is that they're unique offices. And so you can't necessarily carry over, a term in terms of being a commissioner is the same as being a term as being the mayor. Or vice
Different responsibilities.
It's different responsibilities. Or say if you wanted to go from if you went from mayor to a commissioner, that doesn't necessarily count for your term. So we're not saying the term limits are necessarily is not doable under the charter. It's how we recognize that, and we just need to make sure that we're consistent with the law. That's all we're saying.
So really quick though, so what he said was that, I guess, the mayor is a commissioner, because, you know, that's pretty much
yeah.
how he phrased it. But that is true though, a mayor is a commissioner of a ward, so that 12 years is pretty much accurate, you know?
Well, but again, if you look at how the offices are defined, the charter carves out the mayor as another office. And so if that's the case, then we may need to redefine, you know, the office of the mayor as a commissioner, and then you just no longer have a mayor, you would have a chair of the commission. And so there's other ways, you know, there are other ways to skin that cat,
Okay.
to make it consistent with the law. That's what I'm suggesting.
So also, just another thing.
Yes, sir.
So since we're being so diverse, we should pretty much do non-citizen voting, because we have a lot of, you know, immigrants in the city. And, you know, I think they should have a voice too. You know, I think we should update the charter to do non-citizen voting, like several municipalities such as Cheverly and Greenbelt. You know, I think we need to really, you know, think about that as an option as well, because, you know, the future is bright. So just throwing it out
So-
there, you know.
Yeah,
Right, just
so
throwing it out
that's
there.
another subject.
That's
Vice
a-
Mayor, you
That's
had
a gentleman to talk to.
Yeah,
Just tossing it out there.
Vice Mayor, you had a comment?
Never mind.
Okay.
Before we finish up, I'd just like to clarify, we really appreciate the Charter Committee and all of our committees.
Yes.
A lot of our committee members serve on multiple committees. They give us a lot of time. If we had to put a price on that, probably the city wouldn't be able to afford the level of expertise that they offer and afford us. So we understand that. However, we still have to remember, when we're sitting on this side, when I was a resident, my idea of being an armchair quarterback was vastly different than when I've come and taken this role. It's vastly different. The decisions we have to make is vastly different. You see things differently. The fear, and I'm a homeowner here, and one of those things that I am fearful of when I think about my neighbors who are homeowners and they get that tax bill is I want them to get value. And I don't want them to be in a situation, we have several different perspectives of how we can look in the past. Yeah, there were people who maybe sat here too long. They were elected, but they also were apathetic. And so you can look at that two ways, but also these are recommendations. And so to say that we lose value because we disagree on one issue, but we take the majority, we take everything else, 99.9% of the recommendations, I don't think that the charter committee should look at that as a lose. That's a win.
It is.
I think if anytime you get 99 or 90% of your ask, that's a win. And so I think we're going to give this some consideration. We will have our considerations back by end of Friday, COB.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you
Ms.
all.
Farrar. Okay, we're now gonna have department reports. Way. So the first department is communications. Kelly Pathia, Communications Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, residents, and colleagues. My name is Kelly Bethia, Director of Communications, Office of Communications. Please accept this report as submitted. We are going over what we did for April. And what you have in your packets are, of course, my report, as well as a copy of the May edition of the Herald, which should be out in your mailboxes, if not already, as well as what I've been using most of April for, which is the RFP for the website build. So we'll be going over that as well. So quickly, for the report itself, email campaign for April 2025, we sent about just under 4,000 emails through Constant Contact. That is relative, in all honesty, extremely low, but we also didn't have a whole lot of communications that needed to go out from our office. So I am working on streamlining the emailing process across the organization, but it was still a consistent delivery rate. Because it was a lower count, we actually had a little bit of a bump as far as open rate, which is also good. And because of the emails that went out, we did have a couple links, which also gave us a bump in the click rate. Obviously, campaigns that were focused on committees and city events, those were the ones that had the highest open rate, such as Fiesta Garden, Spring Cleanup, and the college tours coming out of YSB. As far as the social media post performance, again, it is reflective on what we did and what we didn't do in March. We didn't have a whole lot of events, so right now everything kind of sort of evened out a little bit as far as March social media performance versus what happened, April performance versus what happened in March. Flyers, graphics made in no particular order. We did stuff for Fiesta Place. We had a couple community partners send their flyers, and of course we put it in our little framework to make it look like cohesion. Things that the office did specifically, sponsorship letter for District Heights Day that will be going out to business partners because we are still trying to raise money and fill up these sponsorship slots. I also created a one-pager for the Senior Center for advertising and community outreach purposes. We also came up with the committee guidelines for the Herald. So District Heights subcommittees such as Fiesta Place, Charter Committee, all the committees who are interested in adding something to the Herald on a monthly basis, please review those guidelines and email me according to the calendar that is within the guidelines so that we can remain on schedule as far as direct mailing is concerned. We touched on this in last month's meeting, but because I did it in April, the encouragement cards that went out to the students of District Heights Elementary, that was a joint project between myself and Tanisha. And then lastly, we have the graphic for the ribbon cutting for the In Style Express Salon in the Senior Center. On the back and attached, so you have the larger version, we have a copy of the Herald. As you can see, it's a lot more pages this month, mainly because we're trying to push out District Heights Day, and frankly, we had more things to put in the Herald for this month. I want to bring your attention to page 7 of the Herald, the community corner. Residents will also be seeing this in their mail, but we are officially taking ads for the Herald, and we have a price sheet. And you should see the nice, pretty color coordination on what sizes and how much each size is. We have a deal of 3 for the price of 2, essentially. So if you are interested, please look in your Heralds, email me at BetheaK@districtheights.org, and we can start that negotiating process for getting your business out in the Herald. What took up most of my month of April was the process for the RFP. If you recall towards the end of last year, like Q4, end of Q3, Q4, you already approved of money set aside to redo the website. I came up with a timeline, and if all goes well, we will have a website by end of year this year. And at the, I think I gave you guys a copy of the RFP, but the timeline is on the last page. So the RFP was issued in the beginning of April, April 7th. The deadline for questions was the 18th. The deadline for proposals is tomorrow. And I am happy to report we have at least 10 submissions, and counting. And matter of fact, somebody just emailed me today, not a proposal for a website build, but they just were like, hey, we saw a proposal, here's what we do. So it got out there, and I'm excited to review them. Similar to what we did for the branding strategy, we are going to have a rubric. We are going to grade them, and we're going to select the top 3 for interview process, and then hopefully selection and interviews will be the week of May 13th. Everything will be selected by the 23rd, and the project will start at the beginning of June, so that we have a solid 6-month process to build this website. It is ambitious, but it can be done, similar to the branding strategy. That was also a very quick process, but we got it done, and it was successful. I anticipate this being the same thing. Those and the other addendum is basically the frequently asked questions that everybody who was thinking about submitting proposals, those were the frequently asked questions. I just wanted you to get a feel for what they were asking for, so you can have an idea of what we're going to be looking for as far as rubrics are concerned. With that, I will take questions.
Any questions from the commission?
Great job.
Okay.
Amen.
We have our homework.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. So, item number 2, senior services. Are you doing senior services?
Yes, ma'am. So the senior center has had another successful month. We continue to monitor program attendance. I'm happy to report that program attendance continues to increase. In fact, there are some programs where we're running against room capacity. This is a good problem to have, given that the senior center came online 6-7 months ago. I'm particularly pleased to announce that the trips also continue to be successful. The most recent one was to a bingo world or something similar to that. It was full. And I would direct the commission's attention to photo collages that have started to appear on the cork boards in the back hallway of the senior center of the seniors' trips, activities, etc. They're starting to curate some pictures and go up on the wall, so I'd encourage you to check that out. I'm also pleased to advise that next week, we're cutting the ribbon on, as was alluded to earlier on the InStyle Express, but what I want to flag for the commission is that this is the last of the commission's initially approved programming that is coming online. So with this ribbon cutting on the 6th, next week, the city has been able to deliver on the programming set down about a year ago now, in the first 6 to 7 months of the building's operations. That is a big deal for the city when last year, we were not even sure, last year at this time, we weren't even sure where the building was gonna land in construction. And so I want to just take the opportunity to tip my hats to the commission and your staff for getting that across the finish line and then making it as successful as it has been. What we're looking for now, as I mentioned in the capital budget presentation, is we are transitioning the senior center to a maintenance mode. So it is coming off of the capital improvement program. We're submitting our probably last bond draw reimbursement on it sometime next week. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the commission?
Yes, I have one comment.
Sure.
So we have had a great showing for our yoga classes lately. I went did I go? No, I went on Tuesday, and we had about 12 folks there for the 10 a.m. class. And I'm just thinking back at the beginning of the year, it was like 2 to 3 people when the classes started. And so I just love our yoga programming. I think it's a great way for us to get mobile and really stretch and address some things in our bodies that we often don't take the times to do as an adult, but it's really, really important for us. And with that, unfortunately, our instructor has had to cut back on her classes, and so I'm putting a public plea out there that we find a way to get her here on Saturdays.
Well, Madam Vice Mayor, I'm pleased to advise, we are already working with her on a video yoga program that will keep her with her class. If there's other options that we need to look at to expand access to that program, because she really has done a great job helping to build it up, we're certainly happy to look at that.
Yes, absolutely. And I did hear about the virtual component, which I think is great, but I don't want us to lose that in person. And then, Saturdays would allow, working folks to access the class a little bit more as well. And so, yes.
So if I may, I'm gonna hear that as a request from the dais to go back and see how we could work that schedule, because maybe what that means is similar to recreation, there's a limited open on Saturday for the senior center. I would just need to go back, get with the team, figure out what the needs are, and bring it back to the commission, probably end of May, early June.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah, then I can probably make that class. Because chair aerobics is like, after that, it's like, but yeah, I would definitely want to incorporate
Very
that.
popular.
Yes, I heard. Okay. Anything else, David, on the senior center?
We did welcome 2 part-time staff members over the course of April and successfully implemented the fee structure that the commission approved back in February or March to start defraying the cost on the taxpayer for greater community members, non-resident neighbors coming in, and so that has been success. I'm also pleased to advise that the senior center is, as of close of last month, completely cashless.
Great. That's outstanding. I do have a question, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
How is the functioning of the actual building? I know we had a lot of hiccups. Are we any better to?
Yes, so knock on wood and not wanting to jinx it, the building appears to have settled in a little bit. Really within the first 3 to 4 months, we ran into a good number of issues with the rapid increase in daily use and population of that building. Most of those seem to have resolved themselves through either additional maintenance or, repair and replacement that we've undertaken, in some cases under warranty, in some cases not, because we weren't anticipating a specific issue. There are a couple of issues outstanding that we're still tracking, most notably water pressure plumbing issues, although what we're suspecting at the moment is it's interrelated with this wing of the building as well. And so I'm kind of setting that aside as something that may be resolved jointly. We've focused mostly on smaller quality of life improvements outside of the major maintenance items that the commission is aware of, to include, new electrical drops, new data drops. We've installed, built-in desk height units at the information desk and the alcove behind the information desk to accommodate additional volunteers and give them some space to just sort of sit down and, go through papers or do some administrative tasks that they may need to do. I would anticipate we'll be in that mode for the next calendar year from today. So I noted that our final initial program is coming online. Well, what that means now is we're gonna go into a platform of program evaluation, right? And so people are gonna have new creative ideas. We're gonna wanna try some things, which may necessitate additional updates to the building. So it really is a maintenance posture now. We do try and focus it to the extent that we can on preventative maintenance, and we do still try to mitigate some of our construction-related issues. I think we've crossed the hurdle on that, but we continue to monitor it closely.
So we are working on a preventative maintenance plan, and that's something that our public works we have staff that are able to.
It's mixed, yeah. And so, for example, the building is covered under the elevators in the building is covered under a maintenance contract. There's other maintenance contracts specific for the type of HVAC system that's in that building. There are some things we do in-house, some things that, we have a plumbing service contract that also services this building and others. And so it tends to just fall under the umbrella. But we're mindful before we go that route to check on warranty issues related to construction and installation.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commission? Okay, thank you, David. Recreation, Mr. Jeffrey Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Management, residents, department heads, and viewers. Please accept the staff report for Recreation, Parks, and Culture as submitted. This month will be a brief one, but I can't promise that for next month. Starting with May 10th, we have our Mother's Day brunch from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. That is full, that is closed. May 15th, we have the Scholarship Committee from AARP from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. May 19th, we have a pretty nice opportunity to work with the University of Maryland Capital Region Health, Trauma Services, and the Maryland State Police, as well as the Maryland Committee on Trauma for a national Stop the Bleed event. Stop the Bleed is an event where they come out to your location to teach how to apply pressure and other methods to help stop the bleed, as well as the training will also cover the free personal bleeding control kit that you'll be able to not only learn how to use during the training, but it'll be something that everyone can take home with them after the event. The Stop the Bleed event is also our way of having an opportunity to build a relationship with the University of Maryland Capital Region Health System. And we actually have a meeting tomorrow where we're going to start to share that information in regards to future health fairs and other opportunities that the city can definitely highlight as another service for our residents. And that event is, of course, May 19th
from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that will be located in the gymnasium downstairs. May 28th, we have Career Day at District Heights Elementary. Our outreach person, Tracy Proctor, will go out. He's already been to Longfields, and he'll be going to District Heights Elementary on May 28th, and that is from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. May 31st, we have a private rental from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And last but not least, I wanted to at least highlight the event because I think we're meeting a Thursday before this one, and that is Saturday, June 7th is District Heights Day. And our parade will be from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And this year, we have the Washington Commanders Band as part of the parade. And then, of course, our event is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that includes the report from Recreation. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I had a question. How did the youth career development days go with Employee Prince George's?
That went well. That was downstairs from, I don't have the dates right in front of me. I believe it was like the 15th through the 19th, 15th through the 18th, something close to that.
Did we
And,
get a lot of the youth to come out?
There were probably 20 to 30 youth to come out and participate in all of the activities, yes.
That's good. Okay. Any questions from the commission?
I have a couple questions.
Sure, Commissioner Jennifer.
Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So for the Mother's Day brunch, you said that's full.
Yes.
How many tickets were we giving out this year? I know we downsized in terms of the numbers from previous events.
100.
100, okay. And from that 100, I know there was some discussion a while back about a fee for non-residents. Is that instituted in this particular event or no?
Right now, I believe all 100 are residents.
Residents, wonderful.
We can
Okay.
confirm if I'm incorrect tonight, tomorrow via an email to everyone, but we made a point to grab as many residents as possible.
Thank
So
you.
I think we have the entire 100.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And then for the Stop the Bleed event that you held, was there any kind of will there be any type of certification for the individuals that participate in that event?
Not a certification, but some in-depth training.
Okay.
The where the idea came from is that it is reported that our area, not specifically the city or incorporated city of District Heights, I'm talking about the county, receives a lot of calls for trauma-related incidents. So during our meeting, we discussed the opportunity not only to present an event and get into their network, but to also provide the opportunity for some in-depth training on how to do some on-site pressure as well as some other tourniquet opportunities in regards to the training part, but there's not a certification. But you will receive some in-depth training on how to stop the bleed.
Any freebies that will help people after they leave this training, like a little kit, like you said, a tourniquet and some other things? Will they provide anything like that for participants after they leave?
Yes, they have a control the bleeding kit, and it's similar to a kit that you would receive for like CPR, but it has other, let's just say, tools in the kit that are related to stopping the bleed.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
No problem.
Okay, any other questions from the commission?
I do, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your report, Mr.
You
Taylor.
turned it off.
Yeah, it's hot. So I'm looking at this, and this is basically a future forward calendar of things that are going to happen in the future, right? So when I'm looking at all the other directors' reports, they give us basically quantitative and qualitative data of what they've done in the past. And so this doesn't tell us anything that you've done in the past. We don't have anything to tell us how well or how poorly your programming is done. So the commission, we can't make determinations on whether or not a program is successful or if it's well enough for us to cut or boost. It doesn't tell us anything about how well your programs are serving the community. If you could just explain to me, how do you think this is helpful to the commission?
Sure. Right now, and over the past several months, the Recreation Department has, let's just say, transitioned to more events. So programming inside of the gymnasium space, which currently is our only space for programming, is of course preoccupied with events and or event setup. So right now we have our chair aerobics class and our line dance class. And then we have a small go-go fitness class that is on the stage in the afternoons because we try to allot space and times for the youth to have open gym. But in regards to programming, I can provide, again, like I used to, the numbers in regards to how well the participation is for the classes. And actually, that's part of some of the presentation that will be part of the report next month because, of course, we'll be cashless at the end of this month, as well as we'll just start to add the data through RecDesk for the reporting out for city meetings moving forward.
I understand. Again, and so I've heard the mayor ask a question about how well the program went last month, and I think Commissioner Jennifer asked something similar. We don't know. I think the past several reports, you've given us these future forward schedules. These are things that we can simply just take off of the website. We don't know the success. The commission needs data to make decisions. These are not helpful. David needs reports with quantitative and qualitative data so that we can make, we're a data-driven commission. We need data to make decisions. We are in a very tight budget year, and this is not helpful. So I'm asking you again, can you just simply tell me, how do you think this is helpful to the commission?
Well, if you guys want data in regards to how many people attend the events, then we can start to, of course, share and count heads in regards to the events that we're providing. But the Recreation Department primarily provides events right now, and that's been occurring since last summer.
I understand. David, if you could maybe sit him with some of the other directors and maybe give him a crash course on how to do a proper report for us.
Yeah, we'll revise the recreation
Yeah.
Thank
report
you.
going forward.
This is not helpful to me. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Hey, no problem.
Any other questions from the commission?
Yes, just a comment. I want to say just thank you guys for your great work. In regards to the spring break camp, that was Employee Prince George's event, and those students were paid to be there. So that was a part of their youth career summer spring break camp, which a couple of meetings ago I said, you know, that took away from our regular spring break camp we usually have here at the city. So, you know, and I was asking David about why last year we was talking about the youth don't have nothing to do. And this year we're having events every month similar to that take away from the youth to play basketball. I know last week I saw like about 4 or 5 kids get turned away because of that very camp. And now just to say that I'm happy that I brought Employee Prince George's County here as far as the workforce development, but to take away the resources that we have for our youth is just, you know, it's just wrong. And of course, additionally, I want to say that, you know, I think we need to be focusing on promoting that career center that we have downstairs, you know, and having them do more events here, because from my understanding, county government agencies don't pay to use our facilities here. So if last year we was talking about the residents was using the facilities and they couldn't be able to use it, now it's free for the county agencies to use it for free. So if we're losing $20,000 a year in revenue from events, we need to figure out how to recoup that income from just these county agencies being able to use our facilities for free. So that's something that I would like to get an update on as well, because, you know, spring break camp is usually for our teens and our community residents.
Correct.
Not for, you know, county agencies are used for free.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, that was for the youth career development. I
Yes.
mean,
That was a
Excuse me?
career event, that was a employee Prince George's,
of course.
but they was paid to be there. Those kids were a part of that spring break camp from employee Prince George's. So
Excuse me,
those
Mayor.
numbers that were asked about, that was a event. That was
Yes.
a rental, pretty much a facility rental.
Yes.
That's what that was. So that was considered a facility rental, just like a lot of the events that we had previously on the calendar for last month and the month before that. Those were mostly facility rentals from county
Okay.
agencies.
I would like to
Excuse
make a
me.
comment.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
We have a MOU and a community partnership that was led by Commissioner Tillman through Employee Prince George's to bring us a career center. We have an ongoing partnership that was brought to us by Commissioner Tillman, and I appreciate the partnership that we have ongoing with Employee Prince George's. So I'm hearing a lot of conflicting approaches, Commissioner Tillman. Is it we continue our partnership with Employee Prince George's that was brought to you, that was brought to us by you, or do we not honor that? It's confusing. You say we should have more events, but then you comment that Employee Prince George's came in to do events.
That you brought us.
So just let
So
me
which
clarify.
which one is it? I would really love some clarification on how we have an ongoing partnership with Employee Prince George's that you brought to us and we all agreed was good for our community. And you've also expressed that we should have more events, but you're also lamenting that the space is not available. So I would really love some clarity on something that you brought to us. What is your true position on that? It's not clear.
Yes, so let me be clear. Employee Prince George's, you know, we partnered with them to, you know, have a job and resource lab here in the city. That was pretty much to help residents find jobs and get resources as far as apprenticeships and training, which we wanted to kind of expand the community and give the residents more options for career opportunities, especially at this time today where jobs are really, you know, very limited because of the federal government. So that was a space to utilize those services. But you know, one of the things that I talked about was that we need to prioritize our youth and more. Like our residents, which we kind of always say are in need of those additional times, specifically during spring break camp. Now, I'm happy with Employee Prince George's County, with Employee PG doing events because that's pretty much what was intended to bring them here. But a spring break camp, you know, was something that could have been rescheduled. You know,
So
we
are
could
you
have.
happy that they came?
I'm happy
or-
I'm just hoping, I was hoping that we could have kind of made more time for just open play during spring break camp and kind of accommodated both. You know, not them using it for the whole week, but maybe 1 or 2 days and then kind of at least have our youth some time to play.
Well, you know, I totally agree, and that's something that we have discussed extensively on having open play time, open gym time available. And we have priorities, right? We have an MOU. We have a nice, beautiful job center. Employee Prince George's gave to us, and in the agreement of an MOU, it's a partnership, we also have to give to them, right?
We honor it because you brought it
Right?
to us.
They honored by bringing in, at no cost to us, all the equipment that we have in the space, and therefore, we do have a partnership with them, and that means that sometimes we will have to provide some resources. They gave to us and we give to them, right? And that is something that we all agree was a priority, right? So I think if there is questions around scheduling, I would suggest that you maybe, work a little bit more closely with David on if that is something that is so core and important, because this was something that, again, I think you've led pretty strategically on, Commissioner Tillman. And so, if that is something that you feel that we should have some greater flexibility on, let's work together with our staff to figure that out. But I want to be clear, because it's a lot of conflicting messaging of, I'm happy that they're here, but but I want more events, I'm happy they're here, but at the same time, I don't like what's going on.
Well, just to be clear, really
So-
quick, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
So we're in a good but difficult position.
Yes, we are.
The good but difficult position is, because of the actions that the commission is taking, more and more opportunities are opening up for the city and thus residents. And so, what we do as a staff is we try and evaluate each opportunity as they come up. They don't always have a lot of time behind them.
Right.
Sometimes they have long runways, sometimes they don't. And so what we try and do is line these things up with what we know to be your stated and adopted strategic priorities. With, economic development and work skilling being one of those priorities, we make determinations based off of that, what you've adopted. Now, we try our best to mitigate the trade-offs, and it is something that we're getting better at. Because to be honest, we're not an organization that's used to having the amount and frequency of opportunity that we have now. So even with that, we're still turning away more than we're taking. So what I will say is that, for us, our intention is never to inconvenience anybody or to turn folks away. It's to use our limited space in a way that, is in strategic alignment with the city's vision and gives some more bang to the buck for residents for opportunities that they might not normally get in this part of the county.
Right.
And so we can always do better, and I'll take responsibility for that. But that is the scenario that we're working in now and are going to work into the future because of the work that your organization is doing.
Yeah, and so, just to add to what David is saying is, we've talked about partnerships with the county because of where we're located, basically the south side of the county, where they have limited resources for our residents. So the partnership is if they can put on resource events for our community and our residents. And sometimes you do have to weigh, is this good to actually help our youth to think about what they want to do for the summer, where they want to work, where do they want to do a trade school if they're not going to a university. They'll have the resources right here, and that is the trade-off that we have to think about. We definitely want them to get their exercise and play, but at the same time, we said that we were losing our youth with no vision on what it is that they would like to do moving forward. And then with the employee Prince George's coming here, and we did not know this, that we have to have our staff to man the Workforce Lab Center. We have to use our staff. They put everything here, but we have to use our staff. So we're committed to that. And so when they do want to have events, and we think about partnerships, when we think about, can we be a part of their general fund to fund activities on the south side of Prince George's County, we can look at that resource for us to add into our budget because we're providing services that we wouldn't normally get on the south side. And that's what we're trying to build up to, is this great partnership where they say, well, they have this center and, we're gonna pay for it. But we have to build the case that we can handle it. So we're not gonna be able to make everybody happy, but at the end of the day, if we can get more resources, more money to go towards our budget, then that's a great thing. So we just have to think about how we're gonna do it. But we know anytime we do partnerships, some of the county is last minute. We already know that. We don't have enough time to build in an alternative space and stuff. So we just have to look at how important is it to partner with the county.
But if I may, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
And I think Commissioner Tillman took some of what I'm asking out of context, because, and again, as Vice Mayor said, it was, I hear conflicting things. When I suggested to get rid of all of these events, period, I think he voted no, in lieu of keeping $20,000 revenue. That's, to me, that is not enough money, because in some things you can't put a price tag on it. How do you put a price tag on keeping a kid out of trouble? How do you put a price tag on preventing a child from possibly not getting shot or possibly not being involved in a crime? When we know that our kids, particularly our young boys, are often, most often, the victims of a crime. More than anybody, they're the victims of crime. So I'm not gonna, to me, if I can prevent one young boy from not being involved in a crime, something that we cannot put a price to. I was a former police officer, and Chief Tarpley and I talk about this all the time. We can't put prices or cost or statistics on crimes that are averted. I'm not going to put $20,000 on a crime or a life of a kid that was saved because he didn't get in trouble. That's worth more to me than $20,000. I'm sure if you ask a mother if her child is worth more than $20,000, she will say yes. And so we are not a business. Government is not a business. Ask these people that are losing their jobs through Doge. Ask people who depend on their Social Security checks if they think that government should be run like a business. It's not. Government is by the people and is supposed to serve people first. Our first priority is our residents. And my first priority is our children. After one of these most horrific summers that we had, our number one priority should be making sure that before we make any type of partnership, that our children come first. I cannot make a decision on whether or not to partner with this. I need data. The commission needs data. No, the commission needs data so that we can make qualified decisions to say this program can, I don't know. So yeah, these people come and say this is a great opportunity. We're looking at this, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a great opportunity. But then we don't know how many kids are coming in here in open gym. We don't know how many kids are being turned away. We don't have data. The last reports from the beginning of the year, I don't know the last time we got data from recreation. And I don't want to talk, I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry, because my primary, I'm sorry.
Take your voice down.
I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, I will. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our primary function right now in this environment should be protecting our community and protecting our children. It hurt me, and I still hurt, that a young girl got killed in her house, and that young people were involved with killing a young girl in her house. It pains me that we have kids that come up to this field and they're standing around, and I'm talking to the management up at Willing Springs, and they're telling me that these teenagers don't have anywhere to go, and we have a recreation center. And we have programs where there are 5 or 6 people in there. We need to know that. If the programming is not doing successfully what it's supposed to do, then we need to get rid of the programming and give our residents the programming that they want. If all they want to do, if they want to come to the field and play soccer, and we can get them off the street at maximum impact, if they want to play basketball all day, then let them play basketball. But we need data to do that, and this is not helpful to me.
Okay.
Could I, please? One that I'm noticing, and I think this will help everyone. I think we need to all be on the same page in regards to
We've been trying to
labeling.
get on the same page.
I understand, sir. One, what you guys worked on last year were party rentals. There's party rentals, there are events, there are classes, and then there are open activities. So the party rentals are the private rentals, and what we have been tasked to do for almost a year now is events. And so when a department is asked to transition, because last year we had dance, martial arts, we had a plethora of programs and services. But when we have so many events every month, it is difficult not only to the participant to participate in a program or class because it's going to get canceled. We're all sharing the same space. You have set up for these large events, not party rentals. I'm only talking about events like Employee Prince George's came out, the Stop the Bleed. I wish I had my report from April because April was a great example of the volume of events that our department has to host.
Right, because you don't give us proper reports.
The reporting, again, right now we are down to just 3 classes. The 2 classes in the morning are a little bit safe because they're early in the morning. So the data on those classes can easily, we have all the data that you aren't seeing tonight. But when we're doing so many events every month, the data you're going to receive moving forward, if we don't make any adjustments, will be about the events, the number of participants that come to the
We
events.
need it.
Okay,
Okay, so
but
we're gonna get the data.
just
The
keep in
breakdown on
mind,
that.
we're down to just the gymnasium space.
David,
Okay,
are you
so-
going to help him?
So, thank you.
And thank you guys.
Mr.
Appreciate
Taylor.
your time.
All right, thank you.
Oh, Madam Mayor, I just want to say one thing before we go to a different topic.
We need to move on because
I just
we
want
have
to say one
several
thing.
reports.
So I just want to say, I just wanted to apologize for Commissioner Gomez for, conflicting, statements. I just wanted to say that we are a safe space here in the city and that, we welcome anyone to participate in any of our programming events. But, I think, as Jeff stated correctly, we have one space. And I think I'm going to be working with David just on scheduling because I think that's the most important thing is we have one space and we need to kind of schedule accordingly to make sure that every program is successful.
Yep,
Period.
okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Family Youth Services, Katrina Emerson. Are we gonna move over to the YSB?
They have a community room.
So what I want to do is keep this report short and sweet. So, good evening, Mayor.
Short
Good
and
evening,
sweet, don't
Vice
ask me
Mayor
no
Gomez.
questions.
Good evening, Commissioners, our community residents, and department heads, and everybody online. Please accept my report as submitted. Just going to highlight a few things. Like I say, April was a very busy month for us, very active at the YSB. On April 4th, we hosted our quarterly family engagement event, which was a poetry and open mic night with keynote facilitator Sister Joy Alford, who is Poet Laureate Emeritus, Prince George's County. We had 20 participants, so that's about 5 or 6 families all together, to learn about poetry, to find ways to express themselves, and then they also did an open mic night with us, and so there will be pictures to come. As with all of the other events that we have so many, and everybody's collecting all the pictures so that we can get them to Tanisha so she can put those up for us. On The week of April 11th, we had Christina Richardson. She went to Longfields Elementary School's Career Day, speaking to students across various grade levels about her career in counseling. I think it's exciting for her because she is a new clinician. So it gives them a little bit more insight of what it is to be at the beginning stages of your career. The week of April 14th, we had our week-long it's not Kindness Matters, I'm sorry. It is now My Feelings Matter, based on the recommendations of the kids from last year. They wanted to talk about all of their feelings. So we had ages 9 through 12 to talk about and discuss and learn and identify helpful thoughts and feelings to manage with day-to-day issues and concerns. They did go over to the garden during the week while the weather was nice, but they were really distracted by the playground that was over there in Woodland Springs. So we let them play, and then you dig in the dirt. And so in addition to that, we added a component of them learning how to make healthy meals, so they were able to make their own granola. They made smoothies. They did their own pizzas and sourdough pretzels, which was a 3-ingredient recipe. So it was really, really cool. The kids really enjoyed the cooking aspect of Kindness Matters. We've been doing Kindness Matters so long, so My Feelings Matters. And in addition to that week, we did do 2 college tours. The first group went to George Mason University. We had 20 students. And coming back on Friday, swinging back around, they went to Old Dominion University. We had 13 kids, 5 parents. Unfortunately, traffic was very, very long, so they did not get back until 7 p.m. But all of the kids that have attended the college tour have really, really enjoyed them. As we are growing that aspect of the YDF, the kids are engaged, they're asking questions, so they're learning more about opportunities for post-high school. And I think taking them a little bit further out lets them see that everything doesn't look like the DMV when you step outside those, that's this small area here, and they understand that the world is a little bit bigger and it's a little bit different. And I think Old Dominion is probably one of the largest campuses that we have been to, and so that was a great experience for them. We're still hosting our biweekly parent support group from 6 to 8 p.m., so we would love for parents to still show up and join us for this event. That'll run until June. I will touch on the senior grief group. They are really enjoying it, so that will run until the end of May, and then we'll pick back up in August. And so that will run monthly based off of their recommendations, but they are weekly up until the end of May. We do have some upcoming activities to keep us busy. Tomorrow, we have the Children's Mental Health Matters. It should have been pushed out by Kelly, which it was. That will be tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's at Tucker Road Ice Arena. This is Children's Mental Health Matters Month, so this is our Come Out and Play event. So each vendor that is there, they'll have the families engage in an activity, and then they can go ice skating, and all of that is at no cost to the families. Like I said, the senior grief group, we have the parent support group, and then our next college tour in June will be to American University.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So, any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Tillman.
So the ice skating ring, even, what time is that again?
6 to 8 p.m. So that's at Tucker Road Ice Rink in Fort Washington.
Okay.
So all the parents parents can bring your kids, they'll have free pizza, sodas, and then they just want to be able to have the families go to the different tables, and then they'll have them do an interactive activity. And it's like a passport card that they'll have, and then they'll ice skate for free for the remainder of the evening.
Oh, that's nice.
All ages.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I do.
So you
before
didn't
go.
answer us.
I do have one before she.
Huh? Yes, sir.
I know you did the thing with the vision board. What is that?
So that's the Black History Month Family Vision Board that we do.
Oh, I gotta remember that was some good food.
Yes.
I gotta remember.
Yes, if you come to the family engagement events, we will feed you.
Okay.
So please come out and join us. As I said, if you're here and we work with the families, even the parent support group, we feed you. So please come out and join us for those. As long as you register, that's a way for us to keep track of where our families are coming from, and just making sure that we're putting them in contact with the services that are here in the city. So when the gym or recreation has things going on, we push that out. But when the county has things going on and they pass to us, we also push that out to all the families we come in contact with.
Thank you so much.
Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot, because David will kill me if I didn't. We did submit the application for the Little Free Libraries, and so we are excited. According to Dr. Alston, it was a very, very great application, so fingers crossed that we will get the grant, because it will allow us to cover those 10 library locations that we have throughout the city.
And what was the amount?
It's 7,000.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So,
good.
and then we would be part of their cohort for 6 months, and so that would just basically kickstart the programming for the Little Book Libraries for the community, just to be able to become stewards for
Right.
those libraries. So,
And we can maintain it.
yes, yes, we can. Thank you to our donations and then all of us from the Library of Congress who take the time to go out there. But I think that the way that Christina is curating this is we want to expand it out to having local authors come in and read for our kids as well. So
Yeah, that
that's
would
on
be
the
great.
horizon.
Really nice.
Because we had a lot of authors from Read Across America and some other, so that would be great. Okay, so I'm not going to ask you that question. So, good night, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Jennifer came up with a question.
One quick question about the ice skating. Oh, is it ice skating or roller skating?
It's ice skating.
Oh, okay. Are we providing transportation or are the families meeting?
The families,
Us on
they can
the
go on
other.
their own time. This is through the Children's Mental Health Matters campaign. So they're putting this together, but we're not providing the transportation for that.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
So, can you speak to the bill that was signed into law?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
So
yes.
House Bill 814 it's getting signed into law, so we're happy about that. So what that allows us to do with Department of Juvenile Services is to send them our reporting for all of our data for all the programs that we have, in addition to all the other youth service bureaus. And so it's basically rebuilding that relationship for us being a resource for Department of Juvenile Services. What I have also done in the last month is we had a meeting with the Department of the Public Defender, so they are looking at us to also be a resource, and most recently, we are starting to get an increase of domestic violence cases for courts, and so they're starting to refer to us more as well. So it's expanding in the way that we like because it keeps us busy, but it
Yeah.
also shines a spotlight on the state, on you have this resource here, and we're local, and we can help. So.
And the way that we're trying to strategically position the city with having these conversations with these external agencies and supporting legislation at the state level is we're really angling toward the restoration of direct funding for these services, because the underlying conversation is that, like the senior center, the YSB operates on a regional model because
Right.
that's where the funding opportunities are. And so, you know, right now, the city is absorbing about 3/4 of the cost of the YSB, but the YSB service area is all of Prince George's County,
Yes.
plus whatever the
Yes.
courts tell us we have to take, and so on and so forth. And so the reporting getting reestablished at the state level is kind of the critical first step to say, okay, and now we need money to do these services that
Right.
you're making us do.
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Public Works, Tony Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and residents. I can even see you looking that way. Please accept Public Works staff report as submitted. For the month of April, Public Works successfully managed 3 spring cleaning events, Shred Day, Citywide Cleanup, and Spring Cleanup. Closed 11 work orders and assisted Recreation Department with 4 events. April 12th was Shred Day. Thank you to everyone who participated in our recent Community Shred Day. Together, we safely disposed of hundreds of pounds of sensitive documents, helping to protect against identity theft and supporting environmental sustainability through secure recycling. April 14th through the 19th was Citywide Cleanup. That was a success. The residents coming together to set out bulk trash and small yard waste for collection. This annual effort not only helped clear out clutter, but also played a big role in keeping the neighborhoods clean, green, and welcoming. We're proud to have teamed up with Republic Services to make that happen. April 26th was Spring Cleanup Day. By removing the litter and harmful plants, we help restore local ecosystems, improve appearance of our parks and neighborhoods, and foster a sense of pride and connection among neighbors. These collective efforts also support community health by making the environment safer and more inviting for everyone. Thank you to everyone who took part in that community and making the community shine. Sign replacements. We did several, on your paper, you probably only have Ramblewood and District Heights, but we also had Scott Key Drive, which is replacing of the neighborhood watch sign. Brenton Street was two no parking signs. We continue to go around the city to replace signs that's not visible or worn and things of that nature. Tree management, we trimmed down a tree in the alley off of Gateway Boulevard, cut down a tree on Kipling Parkway, and removed a falling tree on Marbury Drive. I don't really want to go through all the miscellaneous tasks unless you want me to.
No.
Okay.
No, you don't have to.
Okay, waste management, was illegal dumping again on Regency Parkway, which was removed, and some debris was removed from District Heights Parkway. As far as minor projects, curbs and intersection striping are still continuing to be done. At this moment, they're doing the wording on the grounds, which is basically a stop. Those are kind of faded around the city, so that's what they were working on. In Veterans Park, beautification, that is delayed pending. Well, not longer, but we're working on that this month.
So
The focus
with-
is this
With
month.
that, what we're doing is trying to figure out the best planting options for the site, given the soil and water constraints that we've got. And so we're trying to strike the balance between honoring kind of the original design while getting something a little more locally friendly in. So we're working on that and are basically just trying to manage it without an external, since we do have landscapers on staff who can accommodate that.
You have any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
I do.
Sure, Commissioner Harcourt. I'm sorry, did you?
I've noticed that there are a lot of streetlights out. I know we've talked about this before. I put several in, but now when I get home from, I'm just tired, so I do my Saturday roll. But can we get someone to, maybe do a nighttime assessment? We need to start maybe chopping it up in sectors, and maybe we can get the police in. I see Chief Tarpley back there to maybe help out. We can do this.
We need to, so we have been logging those as well through Pepco's reporting system. It's just a matter of how quickly they get resolved by the utility.
Okay.
And so, the tack that we've taken right now is, persistently logging. But, we're always open to additional ideas for how to move that particular ball forward. And so we'll keep working it, and we'll work it multi-departmentally.
And also, those illegal signs that pop up, it's like whack-a-mole. Can we make sure that, Public Works, when they do their daily rounds, if they see them, to take them down?
Okay.
And, like, we ride the city, I ride the city. So I know Public Works, they're seeing these things on their daily routine. So, if I'm coming home and I'm riding the city, I know throughout the day they've seen them. They can just stop and pull them down. So, let them know, like, those things, they just make the city look bad. And if one pops up, that's just an invitation. And we really want to keep the city the city's, and I'm giving, your props, the city's been looking great. With the street sweeping and everything, it's been looking great. So we really want to make sure that we do these preventative things before the summer comes, to make sure that we're doing our part, because it spreads. If we do our part, I think residents will say, hey, we're going to do our part. So it's very important that we, those small things, they really make a difference. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Jennifer.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Harcourt asked one of my questions about the lighting, but I wanted to also ask whether or not we're looking into how dim some of those lights are. On my street, it's a dead-end street, and the end of that street, that light, it comes on, but it is just so dim that it really doesn't provide enough, like, lighting and security that makes the residents back there feel comfortable, so if we could look into the.
Wouldn't add that.
Yeah, and
along
then
with the looking.
the other thing was, are we still on target for the hazardous waste event? I think it was
We've-
scheduled for the end
I'll
of this
provide
month.
I'll provide a briefing under separate cover.
All right, thank you.
With respect to major projects, if I may, I will just flag the completion of two major projects for the season. One, the fire alarm retrofit is done, final testing is
great.
scheduled. And the 24-25 paving is also completed, and so we are in a planning process for next season. And then we were originally gonna do a TS4 study, which is an engineering study on all of your roads and striping and signage and stuff like that. But, you know, Ms. Johnson found us a better, more cost-effective option. And so that project is also getting marked as completed, because we are going to move forward with that platform and start self-assessing based off of those AI tools, which kind of negates the need for a full formal TS4, which can be tens of thousands of dollars, even for a small city our size. So the remainder of the projects are largely on the same pace that they were previously. However, the municipal field exterior restrooms and municipal center campus storage improvements have gone into an active status as opposed to just being queued. So you could look for more substantive updates on both of those projects and forward-looking public works reports or future public works reports. Last item I would draw your attention to is the performance metrics for the MSW program, that's a municipal solid waste program. We're reporting metrics for February and March, although I received April metrics today. And so what I can say is our MSW set-out rates continue to increase in both solid waste and recycling. So we have very high participation rates in both programs, which is a good thing. We're starting to average out or level out in terms of our total tonnage in both areas. April was a little bit of a spike, March was a little bit of a spike for bulk trash, and April was a little bit of a spike for other types of collection. So you will continue to see this, this data reported out in increasingly organized ways as we collect data from the service provider. We are also entering a heavier yard waste season, so we're entering mowing season. So what we're gonna start to look at in May is additional frequencies of yard waste collection. And but we're not doing that in a vacuum. So the next yard waste collection is scheduled for 5/13, Tuesday 5/13. And Republic has been kind enough to assign their route manager to shadow us as we go about our collection. The purpose of that shadow is so that they can provide us their expert opinion on routing, collection methods, and other efficiencies that they are very expert in that we are not as expert in. And so I'm excited to bring those back to the commission in June to continue to refine and improve our yard waste collection program. And that concludes my segment of the report.
I just had a question. When we did the site visit for the field, half of the field is not full of grass.
That was my question.
So I was like, what happened?
Watering starts, we had the pressure test, I think, scheduled for end of this week, early next week. The sprinklers will come back on and then the grass will spring.
Well, it looks like they're not coming back. I mean, dry,
Yeah, yes.
all these spots, and I was just like, ooh. So do we have to kind of like plant grass seeds in
Yeah,
between
so we're
and kind of start over?
We're probably due for an aerate and seeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do this like before District Heights
Oh,
Day
yes.
or,
Yeah,
okay, okay, cause it looks horrible.
Yeah, we're just now entering the season where we're actively watering with the sprinkler system, and so that's a good time to aerate and seed. We just need a span of a couple of days to
Yeah.
accommodate that.
I know. So my other question was, and maybe I missed it, the gymnasium HVAC.
Yes.
You say on schedule, but we
Yes,
have
we're-
a
we're
old date
receiving-
here.
Yes, we're receiving quotes still. Those quotes are going to come back to the commission. We are still thinking it's gonna be in the $300,000 to $500,000 range before incentives and rebates offered through Pepco and others. And
Okay.
so what we're trying to do is get our arms around the full system replacement, see really what kind of ballpark we're playing in, and then pursue grant opportunities and rebates based off of that. The good news is that funding isn't an issue. We reprogrammed the bond funds, and so we can draw on those as a reimbursable source of funding for the HVAC replacement. It would be nice if we can leverage Pepco or other programs to pull that cost down. But we don't have to count on it, is what I'm saying.
Well, okay,
And I just have one quick thing.
sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm reminded, because I see former Commissioner Harriet Irving sitting back there, and I can't remember the name of the street, that little cul-de-sac right around the corner from you. What's the name of that street? Right around the corner from you.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go up Rock and make the right turn.
Mm-hmm, right on your street.
kind of curves.
Yeah, what's that,
It's still
it's still
Still
Winter
Winter
Green?
Green.
Right when you come around the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the lights are out on that street. It's really dark. I always think about it when I'm coming home from the gym. But all those lights are really dark. It's really dark over there.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Harkema.
Madam,
Thanks for the mental reminder. Former
You had
Commissioner.
another?
yeah, so to kind of piggyback on Harcourt's thing about the lights, should we be combining efforts? Because I have a lot of, reports too. So maybe the government liaison for Pepco, maybe we can, if it any way, I guess we can kind of send them all of our report numbers together, just so they can kind of follow up and just check on the status of things.
We can do
Because I think we all kind of have we all submit the reports, but I don't think they follow up with us on the time, because I know I don't see no completion dates on there at all.
Correct.
So I need to just maybe we can just combine efforts or something to kind of.
prioritize.
Or maybe get them come out to a meeting or something to talk about how we can streamline that process.
And I
Correct.
know they're supposed to be changing them out to those LED lights as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
So did you have something to report on human resources? No, okay. So Treasurer Cecilia Smith-Budd.
Good evening, Mayor Miller, Commissioners, residents, guests, colleagues. I'm Cecilia Smith-Budd, Deputy Treasurer. I'm presenting my report for the month of March. You've been provided a copy of the Treasury Report for the month of March 2025. Please accept it as submitted. March marks the end of a quarter. A report for Q3 of FY25 is included. It's providing a glance of the income and expenses collectively for that particular period. The budget versus actual for March continues to mirror the cash flow of the previous months, where it appears a few line items are below budgeted totals. However, there's only a $219 difference between the year-to-date actuals and the year-to-date budget, so we are very much on target for this through this period. The expenses are different, being under budget by $324,000. But as our programs for summer camp, District Heights Day, and Juneteenth ramp up, so will the spending. Also included in this report is a current grant summary. The summary reflects the funding source, project title, grant purpose, status, and the amounts awarded. The end of March is also the end of the annual reporting period for our ARPA funds received. As required, all funds have been obligated as of December 31st, 2024, and will be spent by December 31st, 2026. Any unused funds must be returned. We won't be returning any.
No, we will
Lastly,
not.
we continue to work with the Department of Aging to secure the reimbursement from the Senior Center grant. We were recently informed that the contact person is no longer with the agency, and we await further instruction as our documents, they have received them and will be reviewed, and they'll let us know the next steps. That's my report. Any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
Yes. I just want to say thank you. You know, I've been asking for this for a while, and you did it. So
Well, I told you I wanted to
appreciate
wait for like a quarter so that
Yeah.
I could give it to you, in terms of what was.
Thank you so much.
It's
Appreciate
my
it.
grandkids.
And I do have a question, and maybe both you and David can answer this question. So I've been like wrangling back and forth about this, and I spoke with the mayor about this on our one-on-one about Juneteenth and how it kind of turned into, it was never originally our event. I think it started out as a Hemingway's event, and then it kind of turned into our event. So I'd like to know, because we have a lot of big, expensive things. And I know in our survey, residents had said, for us to save money, that they'd rather we kind of cut some of the events. How much what is our budget for Juneteenth, and what are our plans? Because
So for Juneteenth, we are planning a small breakfast event with maybe a speaker. It'll be an indoor event and really try and honor the history of the city and the holiday. I don't really anticipate it'll serve more than 40 or so individuals. But that event has been scaled way back. The reason is exactly what you're articulating. It lands right in the middle of our large summer event. So we go from District Heights Day to that immediately into fireworks, right? Those are all large outlay events. And so this year, what we're trying is something a lot more scaled back and slightly different time of day with a little bit of different priorities. So you will get a presentation about where we're headed for that event, not at this meeting, but probably the next meeting.
I think, if I may, I think it would also be good to honor our city. We have a lot of longtime residents. I've learned some very interesting history here. It may be good to invite some of them to, give them, 5 minutes to kind of talk about their experience coming into the city. Mr. Waters has an interesting story. Mr. Beal has interesting stories. I would love, if we could incorporate some of these stories. Harriet has interesting stories. I think that would be a great opportunity for us to connect and engage our community and tie that together with Juneteenth. And it'll also, they're free.
Yes, and when we talk about breakfast.
We'll feed you.
We talk about leveraging our commercial kitchen and
Exactly.
doing
Oh,
something
yeah.
that's meaningful, community-based, and also low cost. And
Yeah,
so,
and maybe we can invite some people to put some wares out and stuff.
yes.
Yeah, so we definitely want to invite the churches since they came up with it at first. Yeah.
Hemingway is my church.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions for Cecilia? No? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that breakfast idea.
Yeah. I guess he doesn't want to come up here. Police and Code Enforcement, Ronald Tarpley, Chief of Police. Could you
I
please
like it
go
that
to
way.
the podium?
Nice title. First, last name title, let's do that. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, District Heights residents. Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, please accept my report as submitted for April 2025. And I'm going to make this one quick for the haste of time. I changed my report up a little bit, as you'll see. So, as you see, you already, excuse me, have my direct numbers in front of you. I won't bore you with going through them one by one. But in April, District Heights Police Department responded to a total of 590 calls, as you have listed before you. The department has focused on the last few months on a few safety initiatives that we continue going on, and here's just a few of them. Traffic being one of our biggest issues in the city. We've started to dedicating more time and resources to traffic enforcement. So in April, we had a number of traffic stops that resulted in 42 impounds, 13 citations, 50 stop sign citations, and then a total of other citations that totaled 111. We issued a total of 275 warnings. And then in our speed camera violation enforcements, we issued a total of 1,947 speed camera violations. And doing our, Keep Streets Safe initiatives, which ended in arrest, we had a total of 3 adult arrests for April and 5 warrant arrests. That's all for the police, so I'll move on to code. Let's keep that one short. In code, we had a pretty busy month there. Code, we got done with updating 16 business licenses, issuing 29 rental licenses, issuing 29 building permits. The revenue for the police department included $2,032 for impounds, $3,335 in paid parking tickets. We generated $59,485 in speed camera citations. We took in $200 for record requests for a total of $65,345 for police revenue for April. Codes revenue consisted of $1,575 for business licenses, took in $600 for rental licenses, $3,978.08 for building permits, for a total revenue for code of $6,153.08. Quick update, we are in our final phases with Aviat. I can never say the name right.
Avio AI.
Which is our stop sign vendor. Bradley has reviewed their contracts, terms and conditions, so we're looking now. I think we're still waiting for the county council to put ours on the agenda to talk about. I'll follow up, but after that goes down, we would literally be like weeks within them coming in and setting everything up. We are, the lawyers also currently drafting the MOU needed to complete, get started on our red light cameras. So that will be, he's promised me next in the queue. I have him loaded with contracts right now, so that's next in the queue to get done. I'm not sure if I reported on this a month or so ago, but Commissioner Jennifer, you asked me about the cameras that we installed on Mulberry.
Yes.
Did I ever tell you anything about that? Okay, right. I didn't think so. You're not real busy there. So this is I'll have another, next meeting, I'll have a more current one for you, but what we got from when we first did in the beginning of January 24th, 25 through February 24, 25, there was a total of 246 violations when that camera first went in. And then we've seen a drop from February 25th through March 9th of 25 down to 114 violations. So that's a drop of 46%. Violations in that. So we did see some reduced in speeding in that. And I believe last I talked to my vendor before we came to the meeting, we're probably up to a 60-cent reduction in speed on that street right now.
That's great.
So that is excellent in that. And if you want, we can look at, I don't know, I'll try to have by next meeting, I probably can do one for all the streets to see. I know we have some, and it doesn't look like it by the numbers, but I think we do have some, some pretty big reductions in some of the streets inside the city. Silver Hill Road, maybe lost cause, but the ones right through the city, I think we are seeing a huge reduction in that. In terms of, point out, you guys addressed the issue with Pepco and the lights. Yeah, I think everyone here has put in lights. We did meet the liaison. There's a new liaison there. She talks a good game. I kind of gave her the business when I first met her about the service that we're getting and how happy I am with that. So, yeah, it's a good idea. We were going to do that. We've been planning that night run to go through the city and get everything, send it in. Also, the water company. We've got a water main break that has been in front of the liquor store on the Pike.
Oh,
Everybody's
really?
called about it, and we're not getting any response. So that is actually, and it's draining into a business. We have a lot of trash that's building up because of it. So that's something I'd like to see you guys try to escalate to the next level with that, because it's making the city look very bad. And I'm just not happy with the level of service they are giving us from either.
So we need to
company.
call Thomas on that?
I would say yes.
Yeah,
at
I
this point.
didn't
It's been a
know.
few months. It's been a few months, and we've called
Oh.
consistently. Officers called, the residents called, the business called.
Really?
So, yeah, that's been at least 2 months.
I spoke to him the other day.
It's been 2 months.
I talked to him the other day.
They came out, put a cone on it, said, yeah, we're aware of it. If you call them right now, they'll tell you, yeah, we're aware of it. Yeah, it's been 2
Yeah,
months.
I'm gonna give
So,
Thomas.
and the lights have been longer than that. And you can go to the system and see when we first reported every single light that's out. I've done, reporting lights right there on Marlboro. That whole, there's two in Monroe Rose is out completely.
Yes, too.
So I'm not really happy with the level of service they're giving our community at all. That's why when I see them, I give them the business. But, yeah, so if we could get some assistance, I think we can maybe, actually, you all to,
Yeah, I know both the municipal liaisons for
Yes.
PEPCO and WSSC.
yes, I think in other news, our candidate our young female in the academy is doing well so far.
Oh,
She's had
okay.
some pretty good PT tests, which are some pretty good indicators that she will work out, at least physically wise, because usually people burn out as through the runs and push-ups and everything, so she's doing very well now. We're almost done with our administrative onboarding, talking about police-wise certification of our 2 corporal and major. All of the corporals the majors hit the ground running, and just, it's been, if you've seen, he's out here just doing his thing, so, nonstop. That's it.
Vice Mayor has a question.
A speed question, camera question. So on Silver Hill Road, we have a camera, correct?
Yes, 2.
It's still functioning?
Yep, 2 of them, yes.
Okay. I noticed that the light where you can turn on, if you make a right at Silver Hill, if you make a left, it's Walker Mill. That light, you're not on the street, but I think it's,
That is Capitol Heights' camera.
pardon?
That's Capitol Heights' camera.
No, there's not a camera there, there's a light.
Oh.
There's just like, you know which intersection I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Silver Hill come up, when you make the right on Walker Mill?
Like if you're on Silver Hill, driving towards Marlboro Pike,
Mm-hmm.
if you're coming up Rochelle, you're making that left, there's a light before you get to Marlboro Pike.
Mm-hmm.
At that light, I've noticed that a lot of people will just run the red light consistently.
So I think you're talking about Walker Mill. We make that right onto that street when we go down to the plant over there, water
Talking about
plant.
Atwood,
No, so if you go up Rochelle
by the school?
Rochelle.
and you make a
Take
left on.
Yep.
Yeah, that school right there on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, but
uh-huh.
there's a light between Marlboro Pike and,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Atwood, that's Atwood.
right, whatever that street, whatever the name of that street is, that there's a light there in that intersection. I noticed that a lot of cars will just blow the red light. They stop maybe, and then they'll just continue to go. So I know since we already have a camera there, is it possible for us to explore putting
That's
one
not,
on
that
the
one's not,
intersection?
that part's not in the city. That part's Capitol Heights. We border them. So if you notice, if you ever come up there, there's a brand new speed camera too, that's Capitol Heights before we get to ours now. Which I was very unhappy about, and I told them that as my decision.
You mean where you do that turn off? You mean like where you do that turn off right there? That's, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Okay.
not.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's Capitol Heights.
No. It's okay. I appreciate it, but I
I know you're
just
talking about,
noticed.
yeah, but that part's
Yeah.
across the street is Capitol Heights. City-
Okay,
Incorporated
okay,
City
so it's
Capitol
not
Heights.
us.
We're further up once you
Maybe we
get
should
to
let them
Atwood.
know, because people are blowing that light consistently.
Oh, sure.
How often do we have our cameras and those types of things calibrated, though? Is it on a regular schedule?
Daily.
or-
It's required, officer has to physically get up and get in there and check to make sure that it calibrates, and then they have to certify that it's been calibrated every day.
Oh,
okay. That's
good,
to know.
good.
Okay.
Because that was the issue we had in the past. It
Yes.
wasn't calibrated. We lost a lot of revenue.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
There's also one more technology
Sure.
thing I almost forgot, of course, which was our flock system.
Yes.
That is the new tag reading system we're gonna have throughout the city.
Oh, right.
And it accompanies with, is it 2 or 3, it's three flocks and 3 live stream cameras throughout the city. So they will be strategically placed amongst the city, so we will know a lot more stuff that's going on.
Good. Very good.
So, yes, so we are technology savvy and technology moving. And I hope to have my first dog in about 2 weeks.
Your first dog in 2 weeks?
The comfort animal, the comfort dog, the 4-year-old lab, yes.
Oh,
That's the hope. I don't know if
I
it's
like
but that's my hope.
labs.
Me too.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, Commissioner Jannifer has a question for you.
So thank you for the update on the light on Mulberry. Do you have an update in terms of, we talked about maybe changing, how it is on the other side of Mulberry is one way? Is there any update on, I think you said you was going to do
Speed
a
study?
yeah.
On the one-way coming down?
Yes.
We can do that. I have not done it yet, no, we can
Okay.
do that. I know when it comes to the stop sign violation, it was only about 158 a day. So that, that's bad.
said
but
only?
Well, compared to everywhere else in the city, it was like 500 and above.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so
Okay.
that was only one, but yeah, so,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we got
Oh, I have something.
Fast and Furious City.
Oh, sure, Commissioner Tillman.
I just want to say, thanks for the design thing. I like the little man thing that you put in, like you changing it up a couple times, you know, the little layout. So I like that. The reporting is looking, yeah, the reporting looking a little nice.
graphics,
You know,
yeah.
you adding stuff to it. It's pretty nice.
Well, I'll pass that on to Deputy Chief Pluke. He works hard on that.
That's nice.
Written all over it.
Yes, we really like that.
Yes,
No,
nice.
he'll like that, thank you.
All right, if you don't have anything else, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right. Would around the charter? Yes. Oh, okay, come up to the podium.
Just one clarity, Commissioner Harcourt said that you guys would forward us information Friday. Today is Thursday, so we're talking about the
No,
ninth.
next
This is next
Friday,
Friday.
before
Talking about the
your
ninth.
meeting.
Okay, I just want to get
Yeah, oh,
clarity.
yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to get beat up, you know.
No,
Tomorrow is
yeah,
Friday.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Sleep
Mr.
well
Waters.
tomorrow.
So, do we have any announcements before? We covered everything, right?
I just had a quick question for you.
Sure.
So, David, I know we have a lot of new employees.
Yes.
And I know you talked about sending us like some pictures.
Yes.
You know, you still gonna do that? Because
Yes.
I know I walk around the building, there's a lot of new people saying, "Hey, Commissioner." I'm like, "Who are you?" So,
Yes.
you know, I like.
You're
if
due
you
for your
could-
next round of City Hall selfies, yes.
Thank you. So, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know him. No, I'm just saying. So if there aren't any comments, announcements before I ask for a motion to adjourn,
Commissioner Harcourt moved to adjourn.
could I get a second?
Commissioner Tillman, second.
All in favor? This meeting has been adjourned.
I didn't have anything else to report. I didn't have anything.
I know you did. I looked at you.
Oh.